Hey guys, hope you're doing well. I've got two figures to show you here. The Ultimate Marty McFly from NECA and the Ultimate Biff Tannen from NECA. And in front of me here is the Tales from Space Marty McFly from NECA, which I got this one a little earlier. These two have been in stores for a little while, but I just happened to recently get them. This one I've had for a little while, and I'm really happy with it. I won't go too much into it, but one of the reasons probably why I'm almost 100% happy with it is that you can't see Marty's face. And this one, a lot of people had some reservations about the likeness and just how his face looked in general. So this one's fine because you can't see his face unless you really want to. You can take the helmet off and everything. But let's check out Ultimate Marty first, and then we'll open Biff and see if the likenesses really are as questionable as the promo pictures led us to believe. First of all, you can just get a look at the packaging here, and really nice. Classic look there from the poster. And some pictures of the figure, and then the other figures in the line. Open it up, another picture there. So really nice. They always do a good job with those. This is the kind of diorama. I know I talked in the last toy review I did. I'm not really sure what you're supposed to do with this on a shelf with these side flaps, but it's something you can work with if you really want some kind of background for your figure. And speaking of figures, here he is. So here's Marty, and as you can see, he looks pretty decent in the viewfinder here, but you might notice he has kind of these rosy cheeks sort of, and that's what people were a little bit worried about, myself included. It just looks like he has a little bit of, he looks like he has a lot of makeup caked on. It's odd. It's an odd look. I think they got decently close, we'll put it that way. It looks sort of like Michael J. Fox from a lot of angles. Some angles it kind of doesn't, but it's just something with the eyes, and just the skin is just a little off for some reason. This is a $30 figure, so you're not expecting perfection, but NECA usually does a pretty good job with that kind of thing. And while I think this is good enough, it's not really any better than I hoped for once I saw the pictures when I pre-ordered. So it's just alright. The hair is good. As far as the clothes and everything, I mean, once you get below the face and look at everything else, I mean, he's pretty spot on. I mean, this is a pretty great job. So if you can forgive the face, which I can, it's just a little bit disappointing. But if you can forget that for a minute and just look at everything else, I mean, you've got the down vest, the jean jacket. It's kind of separated, not totally, of course. And you've got his button-down shirt and the red shirt underneath, so it's all accurate. The jean jacket and everything, the kind of faux denim we're working with here, looks really good. You've even got his cuffs that are turned up, which is accurate. So the attention to detail is pretty great. Probably not much to see on the back here, but just the coloring and everything I really like too. See, he's there's sort of like it's not too bright. The down vest and the denim and everything, it's all pretty spot on. And you can see articulation wise, it's pretty standard stuff. Elbows, a little bit in the wrist, or a lot in the wrist actually. Shoulders, you kind of know the drill here by now if you like mecha figures, but you've got the knees, and a little bit in his ankles maybe? A little bit in his ankles, just in case you're having trouble standing him. You can maybe get saved by the ankles, but the jeans look good. These figures kind of have an odd thing where there's really no way around this, I don't think, but it kind of looks like he's wearing a diaper, just the way the joints and the articulation are. But there's probably nothing you can really do about that, I don't think. The shoes, they look really good. I'll turn them right side up here. Obviously, you're not going to get the Nike swoosh, but they look worn too. And that's kind of in general everything that I like about this. All his clothes and everything, they look realistic. They don't look plasticky as much as they can not look plasticky. You know, they look like they have wrinkles, and there's a bit of a blackwash, I guess you'd call it maybe, that just gives everything a real worn-in look. And again, like the shoes, I mean, if these were bright white, no one would really complain, but they actually look like he's worn them before, which is, it's just, they do a great job with these licensed figures. Most people that are fans of the licenses that NECA picks up are usually pretty happy, and I'm pretty happy with this one. He just doesn't. I just think they could have done a better job with the face. I don't think it's awful, but there's just something about it. It's a little bit of his skin, but it's also a little bit with his eyes. They're just like, they're kind of wide, but they're not really, really wide, like a surprised face. So it's just kind of a weird in between where he sort of looks like, sort of like a weird doll, which he is, of course, but he just kind of looks like a puppet or something. It's an odd face, but overall, I'm really happy. I thought the face might look a little bit better than what I was seeing in the promos. You can see his little Casio watch there too, and I don't know, it's fine. I think for $30 this is about what you should expect as far as quality, and yeah, I'm not sure where else to go. The paint application itself is really good. I think I'm looking for just anything that might kind of make me go and I'm not really finding anything on this one in particular, so I guess we'll move on to the accessories. But overall, I mean, I like them. I was just hoping that maybe there was something that wasn't showing that well on the promo pictures that would kind of take it to the next level, but overall I'm happy with them. So let's move on to the accessories. The other head he comes with is with the sunglasses from early in the movie when he plays the guitar in Doc Brown's house. I'm not really sure if you can see it here. There's a little splotch there of flesh-colored paint in his hair, which is, you know, what are you gonna do? These things aren't gonna be perfect for $30, but you just kind of hope you get lucky with that sort of thing. But yeah, life goes on. It's not the end of the world. It could be way worse. This hand here has a silver guitar pick in it, which should help you recreate that scene from the beginning of the movie that I just talked about. Really nice touch there. You saw on the figure earlier he had kind of open hands. These are kind of clasped so he can hold various things. One thing that's weird about his hands, and this is both sets, is that he has these weird veiny old man hands, and I'm not sure why. It's not a big deal. It's just kind of strange that they went with that. Maybe there's something I was missing in the movies where he had really veiny hands, but I don't recall. But those are the other hands that he comes with. Here you have the guitar that he played in the beginning of the movie. You're seeing a theme here. They kind of took care of anyone that wants to recreate that scene. Has a strap so you can put it around his shoulder. Actually, really, really nice detail here. Mine has a bit of a black mark there. I'm not really sure if that's supposed to be there or not. I'm guessing not, but not a big deal. But the frets and the strings and everything looks really, really good. The strings are obviously not raised. I mean, that would be some crazy detail, but everything looks nice here. And it is kind of small on him, which is accurate. It was pretty small if you remember it in the movie, so really, really like this one. Here you have his backpack, which is really nice. There's only one strap, so you can kind of only put it on one shoulder. Actually, there is two straps, but realistically, you're only going to put it on one shoulder because there's only one big strap at the top here. But this is another thing that has some really, really nice detail. You can actually see there's two marks there, two little bits of silver paint representing zippers. And if you're old enough to remember old school JanSport backpacks, I mean, this is like a dead ringer for an old JanSport backpack. And I mean, I guess there's probably still around, but I think they did a really nice job of this one too. Again, looks like it has life to it. Looks like there are books in it or something. So I really like this as well. Here's his skateboard, and from what I can tell from what other people have been saying, this is a really accurate representation of it. I have to be honest, as many times as I've seen Back to the Future, I've never really looked at his skateboard or what was on it. I never even really realized that there was any particular scene where they showed his skateboard in a lot of detail or up close. But as you can see here, you've got all these stickers and logos, and I'll take everyone's word for it that it's accurate. I think that the skateboard as a whole is maybe a little too bright. It doesn't really have that weathered, kind of used look that everything else does, that I think they did such a good job with. But, I mean, it really just looks like a toy to me. But overall, it's a really nice piece. The wheels do move. And some people wanted a peg on this, so you could put Marty's foot on it, or his feet on it. But I'm kind of good without those, just so he could hold it. Or you could probably still stand the figure up, put one foot on the back of it. So it's not a big deal to me. But overall, this is quality too. Lastly, you have the camcorder from the Twin Pines Mall scene, where they first travel back in time. And this is... I mean, you have all these little pieces jutting out. You have the mic here. You have this here. I'm not really sure what this is, but you got the red and the black. And you got the strap here that goes around his hand. I really like this too. I mean, I think all the accessories are... I mean, they did a good job with these. There's nothing that looks cheap or out of place. You know, like I said, the skateboard, I think it could look a little more weathered, but... I don't know, that's a bit of a nitpick. I think everything here is pretty much the stuff you would want, and the stuff that they produced is actually really high quality. And this is a nice, big, chunky piece of plastic too. So you can see the viewfinder there. So all in all, I'm really happy. And I think the figure itself is probably, like I said, it's, you know, I hate to give out of 10 ratings, but it's probably like an 8.5 out of 10. It's just something with that face. I don't know, maybe I'm making too much of it, but overall, I'm really happy with the figure, especially for the price. Okay, so before we get into Biff, the actual figure, I wanted to show the box, and I want to give kind of a special shout out to NECA here, because most companies, especially big companies, not necessarily NECA, but big corporations, they come out with a toy like this. They're insisting that it says Back to the Future, Biff Tannen action figure or something on the front. But NECA, you know, went the extra mile, put the Gray's Sports Almanac on the front. It says Back to the Future on the top, bottom left, but other than that, I mean, you're not really sure what this is unless you're familiar with the movie. But NECA knows that those are the kind of people that this is for, and that they can take a risk and put something like this on the front of the box. So it's not really as much of a risk, but in corporate America, it probably is seen as a risk that it doesn't have Biff on the front or something. So awesome that they did that. Here's the back. Got the other figures on there. And it opens up with a picture of him there. And here's the diorama. Just a picture of Hill Valley, the town square. So, just something to use. And here he is. Now, I'm just going to come right out and say it. I'm really happy with him. Just kind of in love with this figure, to be honest with you. Love the likeness. He has a little bit of that pancake makeup look to him that Marty does, but I don't think it's as severe. It's either not as severe or it just works better for Biff. I don't know why, but just the way he looks, and you know. But I mean, I don't really have much to complain about here. The likeness is pretty spot on, and the coat looks really good. The t-shirt underneath. The jeans are a little one note. They're a little, you know, unlike that Marty figure, it lacks a little bit of that weathered look. That might be on purpose, though, just because his jeans probably do look a little different, judging by the time period. Kind of a weird thing going on there. Like I said, you kind of have the diaper effect on these, but, you know, great. The wrinkles and it really looks like he's wearing a coat. It's not just like, gray paint over top of white and flesh tone. Like it's a separate piece, and you can tell they put some paint on this. I don't know if you can tell, but it's supposed to kind of be zipped up, maybe to like here. Mine has kind of come apart though. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I think it's supposed to kind of be like that. It's hard to tell. You can see his zipper is up a little bit, so I think it's actually supposed to be sort of like that. I'm debating whether to mess with it or not. You can actually tell on his chest here, there's a black dot where I think there was some glue right there. Just to keep that attached a little bit. There's one here as well. And I think there was glue here, but just not enough to keep it together. I think it still works. I don't think it's a big deal, but I think if they would have put a little more glue on, it all would have stayed. But put too much on, it globs and messes this up. So I'm kind of debating whether to, just put like super glue on like a toothpick, maybe, just to kind of get it like that. But then again, the bottom is kind of wrong too if I do that. If you look at all the promo pictures, it is kind of zipped up. But the more I play with it, the more I'm kind of not messing it up. I mean, it's no big deal, but you can see there's kind of like a silver line here, and I kind of, not just the zipper, but beyond the zipper, and I'm kind of inclined to believe that was where glue was applied at one time too. So, I mean, if you're just looking at it, if you're just kind of admiring it, or just, you're not really focusing on that. It's just a little odd. I talked to one other person that said theirs was more attached than mine was. So, yeah, not a huge deal, but just would have been nice to have that all together. Maybe just make this one piece with the zipper painted. I don't know. But, I mean, there's not a lot to Biff, but, I mean, they did it right. I mean, I have no complaints here. The hair is fine. He doesn't look too happy. He looks suitably pissed off like he always does pretty much, unless he's being sarcastic. You have the wrinkles there that kind of bunches up there. Looks good. So, same articulation and everything. Nothing special. It's not like you're going to do some kind of anime pose with these. So, you pretty much know what to expect with the articulation. So, let's take out the accessories and see what else he has to offer. Here's his other face, which he looks, again, pretty pissed off, but it's Biff, so I think it works. Pretty good paint on there. His eyebrows are maybe a little funky, but nothing to really worry about. Makes perfect sense to have this as the extra head there. Here are his other hands, which are in fists, which makes sense for the most famous bully in cinematic history. Obviously, he's going to have fist hands. And there's one extra hand here with the thumb out. I believe this is to hold some things that I'll show you in a moment, but I think you can also kind of do the make like a tree and get out of here. I don't think that was accidental, that you could do that with this, or that people like me would think of it, but you can hold stuff in it primarily though, so I'll show you the stuff that you can put in his hands. So I was kind of overjoyed when I saw this. This is the lockbox, or whatever you want to call it, from Mr. Strickland's office. And if you pull on this, you have to use your fingernail kind of on this ring. You open it up. It has the Ooh La La magazine and some other magazines presumably underneath. You can't take these out, unfortunately. It would be nice to take that out, and if it folded out and let it look like he's reading it. But I'm really shocked that they included this. I mean, it's a little detail where they kind of said, no, let's do the whole box. Let's just not do the magazines. And really, really happy with it. I don't know. I'm not really sure what you'd do with this more than what I'm doing now as far as admire it. I don't know if you'd put it next to him or anything if you're standing him on a shelf. But nonetheless, they didn't have to do that, and they did. And for people that love Back to the Future like me, it's pretty much just I mean, it's a great detail, great addition. And of course, we have the Gray's Sports Almanac itself, which is kind of just one piece of like, sort of like a, I don't want to say cardboard, but firm, thick paper. And you can't open it either, but still, I mean, there's a lot of detail on this. There's no excess glue or anything, which is nice. The cover is all there. You can even read some of the back. You probably can't read it there, but you can actually read some of the back, which is pretty impressive. So that was always going to be included. It would have been crazy not to, but it's nice that they did that. And then you also have a flyer for the Enchantment Under the Sea dance, which I don't know if Biff ever held one of these or anything, but it is nice to have, and you can actually probably give this to Marty or Doc, and you know, have Lorraine's phone number written on the back, but or Jennifer's phone number rather. But it's a nice little addition. You could probably use this with a couple different figures. I don't know if you'd use it for Biff, but you could stick it on a wall behind someone if you're doing like a diorama, maybe, I guess. But nice little detail. And this is just another thing that just kind of brought me joy. This is the final accessory for Biff. This is the bill he got from the mechanic after he got the car filled with manure. And he makes the comment that it costs him over $300, which if you look closely, again, you're probably not going to be able to read it, but it actually does add up to over $300, the itemized bill here. So when he's outside the mechanic bitching about his bill, this is what he was holding, presumably, or NECA just made it up. I'm not sure. I don't know if there was an actual prop that they made this inspired by, but I mean, it's really, really cool. And this is just another thing that, they didn't have to add this. They could have just done the almanac, and then I don't know, what else do you really do for Biff? Maybe like a bottle of beer or something, but they did these other things too that are just, this is people that love the movies and take the license seriously, which is what you want to see. So overall, Biff, I'm just kind of over the moon about. I was worried a little bit about his likeness too, but I think it's pretty on point. It's probably as good as you can reasonably expect, and everything about him is just fun. The accessories are fun, the heads are fun. So, the jacket looks great. So, all in all, really, really, really happy with him. So, overall, as I show you the size difference here, they did get the proportions right for everyone. Overall, I'm really happy. I think the Marty could have just been better. It's no worse than what I expect from NECA, which is good quality stuff. It's just there's just nothing more. Biff, like I said, I'm just overjoyed with. I mean, they nailed it here, and there's really nothing to complain about, in my opinion, with him. So, they gave you more stuff than he probably should have had any right to come with. So, overall, I like them both. I'm looking forward to getting the other ones in the line that I have on the way. So, as soon as I get those, I'll show you guys those, and we'll review them. So, hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next time.